Jack and his girlfriend were walking in the snow. Suddenly he found a set of footprints. He looked at the forest not far away, pulled his girlfriend and rushed to find cover. At that moment, a shot was fired right next to them. After determining the location of the shooter, he moved against the rock wall. He took the shooter down with one shot. He went up and looked for the shooter's file, but found no clues. He told his girlfriend to call the police, but she hadn't taken the steps. He shot her down with one shot. The responding man sensed that something was wrong, and he stepped out of the car with his pistol to check. At this time, Jack has quietly slipped behind him. He shot him down and drove the car away. Jack is a professional killer. He can't figure out who wants him dead, so he went to Rome to ask his boss Andy about the situation. Andy said he needed to investigate and told Jack to go hide out in the country for a while. He had everything arranged there. He drove to the town, which was beautiful and scenic. As a trained professional killer, he insists on exercising every day. But since he met Clara, he's added one more exercise. Every time he leaves the house, he looks around vigilantly. After making sure it's safe, he walks out of the room. They were very cautious on the road. One day Andy introduced him to a new job. Someone needed a custom sniper rifle. He met with the client at the coffee plaza. Jack asked directly, range, time, rate of fire. Jones' requirements were small and light. As a professional killer, he quickly understood the client's needs. During the course of their conversation, Jack noticed that someone was watching him from a distance. This made Jack suspicious. He slept with his gun at night. He ordered various tools from the internet, opened the package and started to assemble it. Soon a gun was assembled. He tried it out and it worked fine. The next step was to make the bullets and silencer. He polished the head of the bullet with a knife and drilled a small hole in the head with an electric drill. He put on rubber gloves and sucked a drop of mercury into the hole in the bullet head. And a very powerful bullet was made. Even if the bullet did not hit the target's vitals, the mercury's toxicity could kill him. And what about the silencer? General quality does not meet Jones' requirements. He had to find a way to make one. On the way, he deliberately wrecked his car. Then he drove to the repair shop. In the workshop, he took a steel tube, a bearing, and a screw spacer. When he got home, he started to build it. First, he disassembled the bearing, removed a gear. After cleaning it, he put the spacer on top of the gear, and then put a round hammer in the middle of the spacer. Then he pounded on it. He used a special tool to press the well-made shims all stacked together, and then put a black tube. He screwed on the screws to check. The effect is not bad. He did the final polishing and tuning of the gun. The center of gravity is well in the center. He goes outside to test the results. The gun is perfect and almost ready for delivery. Jack takes Joan down to the creek. She was very alert, checked the surroundings first, and assembled the gun very skillfully. Jack could not help but feel that Joan was not simple. She should be the same level of killer as him. After placing a fixed target, Joan's first shot didn't hit. She simply adjusted the sniper scope. Then Joan made a sick request. She asked him to go to the reeds 2 meters away and shoot at her. Jack thought she was crazy, but the customer is God, and he had to do it. After a few shots, Joan was very happy with the silencer. She paid the deposit and asked Jack to make a briefcase to carry the gun. On his way home that day, Jack sensed someone following him. He quickly ducked into another alley. The killer behind him realizes something is wrong and pulls out his gun in his arms. Jack took off his shoes and put them on the wall. He took out his pistol and loaded the silencer. He went around behind the killer. Just as he was about to shoot, a motorcycle drove by. Jack quickly dodged to the side and avoided a bullet. The killer shot the motorcycle down. When Jack came out to check, the killer had already run away. Looking at the owner of the motorcycle was dead. Jack got on the motorcycle and went after him. The killer quickly jumped on the car and drove off faster. Jack rode the motorcycle after him. Seeing that the killer was getting farther and farther away, Jack missed several shots in a row and shot the car's tires with his gun. After the car blew a tire and crashed into the road, the motorcycle slid against the ground next to the car. Before the killer could react, Jack smashed the glass and strangled him by the neck. He was quickly killed. Jack left quickly. Then he called Andy. How could the killer know this place? Andy said that he had revealed the information. Jack didn't ask any more questions and hung up. In the morning, Jack woke up in a big purple bed. He found that Clara wasn't with him. He looked in her drawer and went through her bag. He found a gun inside the bag. Could this have been used to kill him? Hearing a movement at the door, Jack pretends to be asleep. At night, he followed Clara in his car and found that she was indeed seeing other people. The next day he asked Clara out. They went all the way to the countryside. Clara felt that the river was clear, so she took off her clothes and jumped into the river. Clara washed up and laid down on the mat. When she reached for her bag, Jack was alerted and grabbed his gun. She just took out a bottle of sunscreen. Jack was quite nervous. Two of Clara's friends had recently been killed. She was carrying a gun just for protection. There's a parade in town tomorrow and Clara wants Jack to go with her. Jack says he'll be out of town soon. Clara wants to take her with her, but Jack doesn't say anything. As a professional killer, he can't make promises to anyone. The next day, he contacted Andy to retire from the business. After hanging up the phone, Andy made another call out. Jack delivered with Joan. He loaded the gun before getting out of the car. Joan was very satisfied with the bullets. She said to go to the bathroom to check the goods. In the bathroom, Joan checked the gun, seeing no one inside the restaurant. Jack rushed outside. Joan was about to shoot when a bus came. A group of kids ran off the bus. As the parade began, Joan entered a home with a package. After knocking out the people in the room, she made her way upstairs. Jack found Clara in the crowd. He was willing to take her out of here. At that moment, a crosshair was pointed at Jack, and it was Joan who had just gone upstairs. Then Joan pulled the trigger, but she was the one who fell. Jack saw it and gave Clara an object and told her to wait for him at the river. In fact, he already suspected Joan, so he tampered with the gun before he delivered it. Then he rushed up with the gun, and he asked Joan who was the real culprit. He didn't think it was Andy. Joan lost. At this point, Jack was very alert. He felt that someone was following him behind. He slowly stopped in his tracks, quickly turned around and aimed to shoot. He didn't think it was really Andy. Jack drove to the agreed location, but found that he had been shot. He kept on driving to the creek. Clara was waiting in front. Jack collapsed on the steering wheel. Unable to hold on,